Hello and welcome to your weekly horoscope for week commencing the 21st of March for the Sun or the Ascendant. What I'm going to do is give you a broad overview of what to expect, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the 12 zodiac sign forecasts. Now this week begins with the Sun finding its way in its new home of Aries. This obviously gives us an opportunity for a sense of renewal, for getting on the front foot with fresh plans or revitalising the strands that are ongoing with greater energy and enthusiasm. So really exciting stuff. But of course the ruler of the sign of Aries is Mars, and that's in sector 11 alongside Venus in the sign of Aquarius. And Mars comes into a direct and exact right angle with Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, the modern ruler of Aquarius, on Tuesday. Now, therefore, it could be a restless start to this week. Mars squaring Uranus can make us a bit more impatient, more easily frustrated with limitations. It could see us experiencing a greater consciousness about those people who share different values to us. We may be more impulsive about spending money. Also, someone could try to dominate us and restrict our freedoms, but equally we can push back on any restrictions that are trying to be imposed on us. So that's an interesting combination. At the heart of this week, also Mercury, in its debilitated journey through Pisces, combines with Neptune. Now this is absolutely awesome if we want to embrace the more spiritual dimension, to do some meditation or perhaps some creative writing or listen to some really enchanting music, but it can make it more difficult to grapple with details, so our concentration could be affected a little bit at the heart of this week. However, later in the week, Mercury moves forwards to forge a very penetrating link with Pluto. Pluto in the sign of Capricorn for that little while longer. It's moving into Aquarius next year, 23, for nearly 2.5 months. And then we'll go into Aquarius in 24 for a longer stay. But that combination between Mercury and Pluto can give Mercury in Pisces, which can be very mutable, can give it a bit more shape. So excellent for thinking behind the scenes of situations, do a bit of probing or research. But Friday's quarter moon also occurs in the sign of Capricorn. And of course, like Aries, this is a cardinal sign, very much about leadership. And I think the energy of the sun in Aries is quite immediate. It's focused on what it wants to do in the here and now, whereas the energy of Capricorn is more about the long established ways that things are structured. So it can be like having to deal with someone in a position of authority, like a line manager. It could be an institution, a governmental agency, and we may encounter some frustration if something we want to do that's new and fresh and exciting somehow receives less than enthusiastic support from someone who's part of the establishment, if you like. But that Aries energy is given a significant boost on Sunday when Mercury, the planet of thought and talk, moves into this sign, and that gives it much more fire, much more thrust. And I think that whole feeling of a new beginning is definitely going to be rejuvenated even more. Now please stay with me for your in-depth horoscope forecast, but if you are new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. If you'd also like to rise above Zodiac astrology and understand more about your own personal situation, you can take advantage of my special offer of character analysis and a 12-month forecast. Get 30% off. No two charts are the same, and it will give you searing insights for the months ahead. If you'd like to get your free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning, please see the link beneath this video too, where you can subscribe for that. Hello Taurus, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for week commencing the 21st of March. Your patience can be one of your greatest gifts, but you often read in rather more simple texts about astrology that you're someone who can actually be rather impatient, the so-called bull in the china shop. Now, every zodiac sign has its higher self and its lower self. We can all get caught up in the lower stuff when we're having a bad day, but many people are much more orientated towards the higher part of that sign. So for you, your steadfastness, your willingness to work at things for the longer term, your appreciation of tangible gains, and also security. These are all great qualities, but they could be challenged at the start of this week because Uranus has been revolutionising your situation mainly 4 times since March the 7th, 2019, but even for 5 months in 2018. Just depends where your inner planets are in Taurus. If they're right at the start, it's probably been a very restless time for you, anywhere up to about 10 or 11 degrees in Taurus. So this square sees Mars and your ruler Venus in an alliance in your 10th house of how you connect with people professionally. And your relationships are very important to that. And because Mercury and Neptune are in your 11th house of friendships and associations, subtlety around this area can be as important as being more direct. So if you are tempted by the impatience of Mars in its more combustible right angle to Uranus to tell it how it is, I would perhaps try to resist just doing that, because that part of you that does evolve, does think about things very carefully, can be of great benefit. Because once Mercury moves towards the end of this week into your 12th house, you are going to go through a period of time where maybe you will want to just batten down the hatches a little bit, have a bit more time to think quietly about some things, and maybe do a bit of a retrospective of what's gone on over the last 12 months for you. So the Sun and Mercury moving through your 12th house is rather like all the planets being in Pisces for us all. So a time to just not necessarily step up to opposition, but try to understand the psyche of it. And your network of contacts can be important, even if you are encountering someone who is bombastic or difficult or tries to be rather provocative. The quarter moon also occurs on Friday in your sister Earth sign of Capricorn, which is house 9. And therefore, with the Sun in house 12, that can amplify sensitivities, exaggerate them, and things that you might ordinarily turn the other cheek to could actually get under your skin a little bit. So celebrate your steadfastness. Mercury actually forges a beautiful link with Pluto towards the end of this week, and the people that you put the feelers out to or just chat to who you can utterly rely upon are going to be very reassuring. But there may be other people that you can see are not necessarily the most robust of connections, but rather than reacting to this, just be sanguine about it. We can't get all of the people to love us all of the time.